Hey, Sana and
Hello.
Dario. Hi, my name's Nate.
And my name's Justin. Thank you so much for joining us on the Geekcentric podcast. How you both doing?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Doing great, doing
Doing great.
great.
We're talking to you guys,
Yeah,
so we're thrilled.
yeah. We're loving this show. We've seen two episodes so far, and they've blown us away.
Right on.
Um,
That makes
Nice.
my
yeah.
day.
When bringing Daredevil Born Again to life, there was a series prior to this that was phenomenal with three excellent seasons. What was it about the original Netflix series that you thought may be essential to carry over, and what did you want to do differently to give this series its own identity?
I think it's kind of we wanted to take every pretty much everything about the original series, which was near and dear to my heart, and I worked really closely with, and move it forward in time. Move it forward, acknowledge everything that happened to those characters then, but also bring them forward 7, 8 years into older and, they should be wiser. Some may be, some may not be. And to take a lot of the struggles and dreams and bring them into a now, and then, as you know from watching it, jumble it all up again. There were three names on a napkin at the end of season 3, and we moved those three names into a place and then go. So it was always there are elements of the original that have to withstand. And as far as I don't know if it would be different, the word I would say evolved. And then one of the things that's been so fun is making television 7 years later, 8 years later, we have more resources. There's things we could do now that would have been absolutely cost prohibitive to do in the earlier shows.
Do we have more resources? I don't feel like
Compared
that.
to compared
Great.
to the Punisher budget compared to this, like, oh my goodness. So it was a matter of and kind of almost a larger palette. We're talking about New York on a grand scale in the conflict between Fisk and Murdoch this season. So we've taken everything that happened before and ramped it way up. And it's good to see some of our old faces back, and it's hard to see some of the things that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And that first episode is stellar in terms of reinvigorating the Daredevil world, if you will. Now, Sana, I wanted to ask you, each MCU show has its own distinct vibe, almost like a unique lens through which we see these worlds through. And given that Daredevil Born Again has a very different tone from something like Miss Marvel, which you worked on very closely, what goes into selecting characters from other MCU projects like a Yusuf Khan and integrating them into this darker, more grounded world while staying true to who they are?
Yeah, I think that was actually a really fun challenge because, I mean, for me personally, I love the different types of tones and genres we play with. I went from working on Captain Marvel, the comics, to working on Daredevil, the comics. So I'm very familiar with switching very comfortably, and I was so excited to join Daredevil when I did. And I think with someone like Yusuf Khan, it was just how do you tone him in a way that works within the world of this show, but also doesn't really, take away sort of the fun and warmth that character brings. And, it's all in the same way. I don't know if a good example actually for me is the character Daniel, played by Michael Gandolfini. I think he has a bit of that charm and edge that is sort of classic MCU, which feels maybe a touch lighthearted, but that I feel like it blends really nicely into our world. So that's kind of what we think about is we don't want to change our characters by any means, but we have to try to find a way to bring them into the world and the feeling of Daredevil. So I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, we do it in the comics all the time, so I feel like it's pretty organic to do it here too.
And that's very much why we wanted to ask. It kind of goes the other way because our first introduction to Daredevil was She-Hulk, and that was a different tone, different vibe of a show.
Yeah.
And obviously is very rooted in what we know and love. Listen, we are so grateful for the opportunity to talk to you. We've loved the first two episodes, as we said, and we're really excited to see what's next for Matt Murdock and as Daredevil.
That's awesome.
I
Thank
hope
you
you
so
dig it.
much. Yeah.
Cool. I hope you guys like it.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Have a good one.